So, what do you want to talk about?
In the message queue, could you potentially overflow if you type in more than 120 characters?
That's a good question. I do not. The code I wrote for map and screen is actually quite old. I've made a few tweaks over the years, but it's been a long time since I've done an audit of it, which is overdue. I'm sure that there's some bad crap in there. So the answer to that question is I don't have the slightest idea.
Should we worry about it?
I absolutely not. Do not worry about it. I am assuming that you're not trying to stress test the message stuff.
I don't think get message allows you to put in more than 120 characters anyway. Like the maps get message function.
Okay, good.
Oh, and related to that, 120 characters, does that include the player 2 said, or does it not include that? Does it only include what you typed on the screen?
It would include that because you're still sending that through the message queue.
Yeah, but maybe you send 120 plus like 10. So
The short answer is I'm not grading on it. I'm assuming that for this project you don't have to worry about overflowing message buffers. Is it possible? I think absolutely it's possible because I just simply haven't been focusing on it. So I think we all have enough to worry about without me getting all anal about the size of your messages. What else?
oh, just we need to work on it.
Let me see, there's been some question about I was wondering if I had put add exit since I'm sitting here. No, I'm not seeing it. So I was just curious about the inconsistent behavior where that is destructors running for some and not for others.
The destructor wouldn't run in another function anyway.
What's that?
I don't think the destructor would run in another function anyway.
Like a non-function.
Yes, that is correct. In general, you wouldn't get the destructor to run from another function. However, I might very well have, if you look at exit, it lets you register functions that get run on exit. Oh, not on exit.
Is your map global?
Map, no, it's not global, but I've saved, yeah, my map is created in the main function, but I saved a pointer, the map object, in this global struct so I can redraw the map.
So your map is global.
Its scope is inside the main, but I have a pointer to it so I can access it from anywhere. From
I don't know if that pointer would call the destructor though.
no,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I call it the destructor.
If you exit an application by using return out of main,
well, maybe. What if you call the destructor explicitly in the signal handler function?
you can't because it's tied to an object, so you'd have to have access to the object. I think it's generally considered bad form to call the destructor directly. What I would do is I would use this on exit I have to actually.
Well, I use that, I grab that line of code from the structure of the Screencast, and it works very well.
So that's.
And win.
See, I'd use something like add exit or on exit and register a function, and then I'd have that function call endWin rather than dealing with the destructor screen. I think, you know, you get to these edge cases and you lose a little bit of purity of design. It's particularly systems programming, right? Systems programming with all its kind of global scope stuff makes it hard to be pure with your object-oriented designs. So I would just crack open the source to screen, acknowledge that all it has is endWin in it, and then just call endWin from within some function that you've registered to be called on exit. So if you return out of main, that is going to destruct everything normally. If you exit out of main, or exit out of wherever you're exiting, it won't generally roll you out and run destructors. So that's the issue. If exception handling, however, does call destructors. So if you throw an exception, one strategy is to throw an exception and then you catch it and then just return out normally. That's another way of doing it. Although you shouldn't, I don't think you want to throw an exception from within a signal handler. So in that particular case, it's for our purposes that wouldn't work. But in general, if you need to really bail out quickly, but you need integrity of your destructors running, then throwing an exception is a good way to do that. Gets you out quickly, and all the destructors run. But anyway, any other questions at this point? I did post the write-up for Project 4. I haven't provided any other information, so it might be hard to get a real good start on that, but it'll let you swoon with excitement when you read it anyway, and enthusiasm and delight for being a student.
Do you need to deal with semaphores or anything like that when dealing with SKUs? Or is it all just?
No, you do need to lock and unlock before and after using them, writing to them. Because if you read, you can have multiple readers. That's not a problem.
But you only have one thing of your reading at a time.
You can have no more than one writer at the same time.
But if you just put it in your gameplay.
I want to say no. The kernel should sort out. The kernel isn't going to clobber messages on a message queue.
It's the kernel process.
The kernel's it's a system level resource that the kernel manages, so it's not going to require the processes to synchronize their message sending.
Okay. So the answer is no.
What else? Sorry, we just ran out of cake. All right, so add exit's the one we want. We want add exit, not on exit. Yes, sir.
Have you read the question posted on Piazza about the
Message queues,
yeah,
and I responded. All right. I thought it might be quiet because everyone's kind of down to the final race here, finishing up. So I will end the recording, and if you got anything for me individually, I'll look at that. Otherwise, I'll continue plugging away on what I was plugging away on in my office when I looked up at the time.